Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world. Welcome to today's live stream. This is Desi Pronunciation Perfection. We're going to be discussing the differences between the Indian English and the British English to hopefully help you understand the differences and you can apply the advice to your particular situation. In last week's live stream, we discussed lots of different vowel sounds with the differences between the Indian English and British English. And today we're going to be going through a few more top tips, and I want to give you some example sentences for us to work through. And I usually give chance for you guys to practice. We'll pause at important points. I'm giving you a chance to sort of practice out loud as well. We are going to be doing this is a weekly series, and also please feel free to stay in touch with me in the comment section or on Instagram DMs to let me know what you would like to learn about in future live streams. Let's just take a look at the comment section. Feel free to stay in touch with me in the live comments, and I will get back to you. All right, let's share the virtual lined paper for us to start making some notes. There we are. So today we're going to go through a couple of important extra points based on last week's lesson. So we're going to be discussing intonation patterns and linking and blending. So linking and blending. Intonation patterns. All right, so I want to share a few top tips with you. So we have linking and blending and intonation patterns. Linking and blending is essentially a way to merge different words and link parts of the sentence together for it to have a better flow when you're speaking, and you will sound a lot clearer. Also, you can sound a lot more like a native when certain words are blended together. So let's go through a few examples. Now, even if you know these examples, right, even if you know these words and you've kind of come across them before when you're learning, I'm sure you have, we're still going to practice saying these out loud, and I'm still going to give you top tips to make it sound more authentic. So please continue to stay tuned. Some of it might sound basic, but actually we can make those sentences more advanced, and feel free to let me know in the comments as well if you would like some harder examples. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you in the Indian accent, and then I'm going to give you a few top tips about how we can make it sound more British. So let me just read it in the Indian accent. So I am going to the cinema to watch a film. I am going to the cinema to watch a film. Now notice that my to sounds very heavy on the T sound here. And going to is two separate words. So let us just take a look. So we got the going to, and I want to underline that bit there. And then this is the area that we want to focus on. So I am going to the cinema to watch a film. And let us just quickly think about this word as well. I'm going to watch a film. Now, in the American vocabulary, we would use the word movie. Sometimes, we do use movie here in Britain, but Usually we use the word film. Now, let me help you with these two. Now, when you want to link and blend these words, we can say, okay, I'm going to switch to the British accent now, so we can say going to or gonna. In a more formal situation, we would say going to, not to, going to, oo. Can you try and say that sound for me? So let's try and say to, going to, oo. So if you're wondering what the vowel sound is here, it's oo. Oo. I want you to practice that. Okay, so going to. I am going to the cinema. Cinema. Not cinema. Cinema. It's a sound. It's like a schwa sound at the end. Cinema. 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 To watch a film. Film. Not film. Please don't pronounce the L in film. It's not film, it's film. Now if I wanted to link these ones, so you can even say I'm gonna go to the cinema to watch a film. I'm gonna go to the cinema to watch a film. Gonna go to, I'm gonna go. So going to changes to I'm gonna go. Let's write that down so it can help you. Okay, so you can always change going to gonna go to. I'm gonna go to the cinema to watch a film. Now notice I also merged these two. So we never usually say I am. I am sounds a bit too forced. We don't say I am gonna go to. It actually becomes I'm. Right, so that looks like this. I'm. Also, it's not quick, it's not I'm, right? It's I'm. Feel free to actually slow down there. So it's not I'm. As you see, I'm saying that quite quickly. It's not I'm, it's I'm. I'm gonna go to the cinema to watch a film. Would you like to join me? Would you like to join me? I'm gonna go to, so that's quite quick. So I'm gonna, I guess when we do say it quickly, we don't say I'm, we're gonna say I'm gonna, so it starts off with right? So I'm gonna go to, or you could say I'm gonna go to the cinema to watch a film. Would you like to join me? Would you like to join me? So this going to is an interesting one here, right? So gonna go to. Gonna go to. Now there's a lot more examples that follow the same pattern. So let's take a look. What would you change this to? So what would you change this to? So which two words would you link and blend? She's going to study now. She's going to study now. So this one changes to she's gonna study now. Now, isn't that interesting? You don't have to add the go to at the end, right? So it's not she's gonna go to study now. It's she's gonna study now. She's going to study now. She's going to study now. But isn't it interesting how we can't just say in this one, I'm gonna to the cinema to watch a film. That doesn't make any sense. You have to say I'm going to, right? So I'm gonna go to. However, she's going to study now. You can say she's gonna study now. Let's do another one. Okay. Marcus wanted to open his book. Book. Marcus wanted to open his book. Can we contract anything? Can we sort of like link and blend anything? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So this one's an interesting one. We can't actually merge this with anything. So we can't say Marcus wanna open the book. That doesn't make sense. Marcus wants to. Marcus wanted to. So no, you can't actually merge anything here. So this one would be pronounced Marcus wanted to, not wanted to. So please focus on the W sound, right? It's not a wanted. It's not a V sound. It is W sound. So Marcus wanted to, not wanted to, right? Not wanted to. So focus on the pronunciation of those ones here. Open, it is not O. It's not an O sound. It is O sound. O, right? So let's focus on that. So Marcus wanted to open his book, not book. So this bu sound is not the bu sound. In the Indian accent, it is bu sound. Bu. Here it's book. Book. Marcus wanted to open his book. So if you're struggling with this O sound, I would suggest you practice that O sound. So it's not open, it's open. Let's analyze the difference there. O and O. O and O. Let's do one more. Okay, sorry about that. So I hope you're reading this out in your head. Oh, I need to scroll down a little bit. There we are. So how can we make this sound more British? So Thorn Princess asks a question, can you tell what's the difference between a V and the W sound? Sure. After this example, let's go through that. Oh, and hello ingles.com. Thanks for joining the live stream. Okay, so in the Indian accent, I would say Priya should have completed the test earlier. Priya should have completed the test earlier. So if I was to change this to make it sound more British, let me show you. Let me just copy and paste this down here. Just over here. There we are. Okay, I'm just trying to... Software's so annoying to use sometimes. Oh, God. Do you know what? And it keeps copying and pasting it here. I don't know how to... Okay, right. Let's just try and copy it here. Oh, man. It's not allowing me to... Oh, okay. All right. Gosh, this software can be so fidgety to use sometimes. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so we've got it here, copied and pasted. So let's copy and paste it down here because I want to discuss the difference, right? So the first one that I want to discuss is this. Okay, now the should have actually becomes shoulda. And then we can even add the word really, right? So it sounds more colloquial this way. Colloquial means informal. Let's take a look. So let me read the top one and then I'm going to read the bottom one. Priya should have completed the test earlier. Priya really should have completed the test earlier. Priya really should have completed the test earlier. Really should have. Really should have completed the test earlier. Priya really should have completed the test earlier. Should have. Now it should have, I think, so shoulda sounds really informal. Let me copy and paste a third example, which is in between both. So I wouldn't use the word shoulda in a business meeting, for example, but you can use this example. Let me show you. Okay, so this sounds a lot more formal rather than shoulda, right? So what I would say, my advice to you would be careful when you're thinking about this one. Okay. Let me explain why this sounds better. So when I'm reading this out, I would say, Priya really should have completed the test earlier. Should have, really should have completed the test earlier. Really should have. Priya really should have completed the test earlier. Now, I'm going to read the green, the blue and the red a few times, and I want you to listen out for the difference. And then I'm going to give you 30 seconds to practice by yourself, okay? So I'm going to read the green one, the blue one, and the red one. Please listen to the difference. So this one, really should have, really should have, really should have, really shoulda, really should have completed the test earlier, really shoulda, really should have, should have, should have. How about you repeat after me? So try should have, really should have. Let's try this one. Really shoulda, really shoulda. Priya really should have completed the test earlier. Shoulda. Let's try that. Really shoulda. And then let's do this one. Should have. Okay, I'm going to read through it one more time, and then I'm going to disappear, and you're going to spend 30 seconds practicing that. So let's do the green. Really should have. Really shoulda. Should have. Okay, off you go. Guys, I hope that was useful. You can always go back to this live stream, pause it where you need to, and then practice that a little bit more. So we were just discussing how the blue one sounds really informal, but the green one sounds appropriate. So really should have. Also, it's not should of. It's not should of. It should have. So it's should have. Let's see if we can hear the difference there between of and of. 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 So really should have. It's not should of. It's should have. Should have. Okay. Okie dokes. So we're talking about linking and blending. I'd like to move on to the next part of the lesson. One of the students online has asked about the difference between W sounds and V sounds. Now I was going to discuss this in the next live stream next week, but I'm happy to quickly explain it now, and then we can move on to the next part of the lesson, which is intonation. Oh, and I also want to go through wanna as well. So we've gone through gonna, shoulda. I want to teach you wanna as well. Okay, so let's think about the W sound. Let's think about some extra examples. Okay, these are pretty simple examples, but I do want to explain them in more detail because we're going to analyze these sounds now. So I'm just going to highlight them for you. Okay, we're going to investigate the differences in the sounds here in Indian English and British English. Thank you, Inglis. You've just subscribed. You've just said nice class. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying. So let's investigate the differences between the sounds here. So I'm going to read it in the Indian accent, all three of them, and then we're going to switch it to the British. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. Number 2. It is so wet outside. It is so wet outside. Number 3. It is very cold today. It is very cold today. So from the beginning. I want to go. It is wet outside. It is very cold today. Now let me read it in the British accent for you. I want to go. I want to go. It is so wet outside. It is so wet outside. It is very cold today. It is very cold today. So do you see how in the Indian accent it's commonly pronounced as want? So people think it's a V sound. So the V, it's not W, right? So people aren't pronouncing it as W. So in the British accent, it's actually W. It's a W sound, which is W, not V. W. And notice that, so W and V. Notice the V. So to create a V sound, you have to press down on your teeth. V, not W. Your teeth aren't touching your lips when you're saying W. You're just creating a U sound, so W. W. So create a little O shape, like a circular shape, and then open your mouth like this. W. And then V. So please avoid doing V for want. You want to say want. Want. So in the Indian accent, it would be I want, which is V. But to avoid the V, we do the W, which is W. I want to go. I want to go. Here's a bonus sound for you to improve. So we've got the O sound as well. It's not go, it's go. O. Not O, it's O. So I want to go. The same O is on the second one here as well. So, go and so rhymes. So we're just going to circle that, highlight that one as well. It is so, and then again, it's not vet, it's not a V sound. If you're trying to speak in a British accent, you can avoid the V sound for W. And we want to create that circular shape that I was talking to you about. It is so wet turns to it's so wet. Wet. It is so wet outside. And then for the third example, I've noticed the V sometimes sounds like a B sound in the Indian accent. So let's investigate that. So it's not, it is berry, b. So I think to explain this one, I think some speakers don't press on their lips enough when they're doing the V sound. So you're supposed to create this sound, right? V. V. Notice where my front two teeth are. V. Not B. Notice my teeth don't show when I'm doing the B sound. B. So it's not, it is very cold. It's almost like a B sound, right? No, we don't want to say it's very cold. It's very cold. It is very cold today. Okay, let's go from the beginning. And then I want you to practice, and I'll give you 30 seconds to practice. So, number 1, I want to go. Number 2, it is so wet outside. And number 3, it is very cold today. Try it by yourself, and then I'll repeat it again in 30 seconds, and then you can try it again. Okay, so please practice. Hey, I just someone just donated some money. That's really kind. I wasn't expecting that. Demonic rat. Thank you. Was it demonic rat or was it Deshifre? Sorry, it was Deshifre. I don't know how to pronounce your username, but thank you very much. I don't do this for. I think education is like a big passion in my life, so it's really nice to be able to share that with you. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. I don't want to get too emotional, but I don't know. I've just been working really hard recently, so it's nice to be appreciated. Okay, let's continue with the lesson. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I don't know. I think yeah, education is interesting, isn't it? I find myself. I think for me, I've set up a little. I don't know if you guys know. I've set up a little tutoring school for children in South London, and I think it's one of the most fulfilling things to be able to teach and support my students. It's incredibly fulfilling. Like last week, a parent came and thanked me because her child has been struggling at school and she's got special educational needs, and like no other tutor actually took her on. But I believed in her, and I've been watching her grow. And the mum thanked me, and she said she's really improving at school. And she's also noticing how she's fitting into other groups really well, and she's being treated equally. And yeah, I think for me, yeah, it's just nice. It's just nice to be in the education space. I think, yeah. All right, let's get straight back into this. So we're talking about the differences in the sorry, I've lost my flow. So we were talking about the V sounds. So let me just read it out for you one more time. So let's practice this one. Want and want. This one. It's not vet, it's wet. Wet. And then it's not Betty, it's very. Okay, all right. So, oh yeah, there's one more linking and blending that I want to help you with. So let's go through that now. Okay. Also, I just wanted to clarify something. Hold on, let me just read through the comments. It's really sweet. Thanks for the comments, guys. I appreciate it. Oh, Oshan says, what is your first language? My first language is Tamil. Tamil. That's my first language. Okay. Just give me a second, guys, actually. Just give me 1 second. I just want to formulate my thoughts for the next part of the lesson. I'm just taking a look at my notes. I'll put these notes up here again for you to take a look at, but just give me like 30 seconds, please. Thank you. Oh, Kurti says, can you give me a difference between preposition and prepositional phrases? Yeah, sure. I can quickly go through that. So let's just go through wanna, which is the next linking and blending. Then we'll discuss preposition and prepositional phrases. And then we can move on to intonation. And then we can bring this live stream to a close. And I'll see you guys next week. So let's try and stream for maybe 10, 15 more minutes. And then I'll join you guys next week. Okay. All right. So, yeah, one of the students asked me what my mother tongue is. So my mother tongue is Tamil. Okay. All right. So next one, we're going to go through wanna. We're going to understand what this one is, right? So let's create an example sentence. Ooh, this is a good example. Do you know why? Because we're going to discuss that the V versus W sound that we were discussing earlier, right? So let's change want to into wanna, right? So I wanna go to the swimming pool, right? So let me just read out those two examples, and I want you to understand the differences between them. Okay, let me read the first one for you. Oops. Okay. I want to go to the swimming pool. I want to go to the swimming pool. And this we can switch to I want to go to the swimming pool. I want to go to the swimming pool. So there's lots of sounds going on here actually that we want to investigate. So let's circle that in yellow. Let's do this one in yellow. Right, then we want to do this T sound in yellow. Let's investigate all of those different sounds. There's a lot going on here. Right, so the want to, do you see the V sound, the V sound in want? What did we discuss 5 minutes ago? We discussed how the V turns into a W, right? So it's I want to. I want to. I want to. The to is a very strong T sound, so we change that to the softer T sound, and so it becomes I want to go, not go, go, to, again to the softer T, to the, and then look at the W sound. It's not swimming, sv. Let's practice that actually. Let's just zoom in here. Let's just practice this this one here specifically. Right? Let's practice that. So it's not swimming. In the Indian accent, it would be sv. Sv. Can you practice that for me in the Indian accent? It would be sv. Sv. This bit. Sv. But in the British accent, it was a w sound. So sw. Sw. So swimming. This is what we mean by linking and blending the sounds, right? So swimming. So you've got swimming and swimming. Swimming, swimming. Can you hear the difference there? Let me know in the comments if you can sort of hear the difference. Maybe I can come up with more examples if you guys want. So swimming, right? And then swimming. So I want to, so do you see how the want to turns into wanna? I want to go to the swimming pool. Let's just discuss this O sound, or the double O sound. It's not pool, it's pool. Pool, it's pool. Swimming pool. Swimming pool. And we call this a dark L, where we don't actually pronounce the L. But we'll maybe do that in another video. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. So yeah, do you see how in one simple sentence, guys, it's a lot to dissect and investigate into, right? You guys might think it's just a simple sentence, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Okay, let's just take a look at the comments. All right. Okey-dokes. Cool. So someone asked me a question. I want to make sure I answer it. Guys, take a look at the comment section. So Jaden has given a lot of examples for linking and blending. So we've got kinda instead of kind of. It's kinda good, like it's kinda. And then we've got have to, yeah. Instead of saying I have to go to the cinema, you can say I have to. Dunno is also for don't know, yep. Gotta, if you want to say I have to do my homework, you could say I gotta do my homework, right? So lots of excellent examples in the comment section, so please take a look at Jaden's comments. And then who asked me about the prepositional phrase? Yes, okay, so Goody asks about the prepositional and prepositional phrases. Okay, let's go through that. So what is the difference between preposition, so preposition, versus prepositional phrases, right? So that was one of the questions from one of the live stream viewers. Kuti, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly there. So, in terms of a preposition, we could have, so preposition. Let me give you some examples. So, under could be one. Next to, above, why is it doing, why, okay. Number 4, we also have opposite. So a preposition is a word which tells you where something is. It's as simple as that. It tells you where something is. Okay. Now, a preposition is usually a word, just a word. But a phrase can go at the start of a sentence, for example. So it's a collection of words, right? So let me give you an example of a phrase. So opposite the dining table. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Opposite the dining table lay an extravagant sofa, which was incredibly expensive. Let me read this out in the Indian accent. Opposite the dining table lay an extravagant sofa, which was, do you see the which, the W sound is turns into a V sound, so which was incredibly expensive. So, Which one would be the prepositional phrase? So we talked about this one being the preposition. Well, the whole phrase is opposite the dining table, right? Because it's the phrase of where it is opposite. So opposite the dining table, this would be a prepositional phrase. I hope that makes sense. Also, when you have prepositional phrases, you can also, so next to the computer, comma, right? Or above the table, or underneath the table, comma, and then you would continue your sentence. Or you could say, on the ceiling was a beautiful chandelier, right? So you're telling me where something is in a phrase. So that's the difference between a preposition and a prepositional phrase. I hope that makes sense. Please let me know. Thorn Princess says, is it preposition? No, it's preposition. Preposition. Preposition or preposition? You got me confused now. Because I also don't want to answer that incorrectly. Let's go on to Google and let's type in the word and we can listen to the pronunciation. So let's do it together. Oh, the sun is setting in the UK already, and it's getting darker now, so I might have to turn up my lighting. But let's type in preposition into our phone. So I hope you guys use this feature as well. You can just type it into Google, and then we can take a look. Preposition. So you type in preposition meaning, right? And then do you see how we can just click on that audio button just there, right? So let's listen.
Preposition. Preposition.
Yeah, preposition. Preposition. Okie dokes. I think we're ready to move on to the last part of our lesson, which is intonation patterns. Let's discuss an example that we've already gone through, just to make life easier. All right, yeah, let's go through this one, right? Intonation means your patterns in pitch. How much does your voice flow up and down, and where do you put the stress, right? You can imagine it like a dance, even when I'm moving my hand. In order for clearer communication, we want to achieve certain variations of intonation and pitch. So some of the Indian accent does sound a bit varied, with greater variations in pitch and tone. I am going to exaggerate this a little bit just so that you can understand the differences, but let me read it out for you in an Indian accent. Opposite the dining table lay an extravagant sofa which was incredibly expensive. Opposite the dining table, so dining table, notice the intonation pattern there, right? It is a little bit up and down. So opposite the dining table, so dining table, do you notice that? Dining table. Dining table. So let's just highlight that because I think I want you guys to understand that it does sort of go up and then down. Let me see if I can use my pen function to sort of highlight that. Right, so it goes up. So opposite the dining table. Oh no, so it doesn't even do that. It kind of goes up and down in each word, right? So it kind of goes up and then down, and then up and then down. That's how I like to visualize it. Let me read it out for you in the British accent now, and you can kind of hear the difference. So opposite the dining table. Opposite the dining table. Dining table. Dining. So I guess it does follow similar intonation patterns, but it's not as extreme. So opposite the dining table, or opposite the dining table, lay an extravagant sofa. which was incredibly expensive. So it's flatter. So when you're practicing, try to vary out the tone. So even if I wanted to say try to vary out the tone, you would say try to vary the tone, vary the tone. So it goes up and down. I am exaggerating it a little bit just so they can hear the difference. So it is up and down, it is up and down, or it is up and down. It is up and down. So it's kind of almost more wavier rather than sharp, 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 sharp. That's how I like to think of it. It is quite hard to, I think once you've spotted that, and if you're kind of varying your intonation too much, maybe you can have a little play around sort of reading that in a sort of, because you do want to vary your tone. If you keep it too flat, you're going to sound like a robot and you won't sound engaging. So it is important that you focus on that. Okay. I am happy to conclude this live stream. Let me go. So have a think about your final questions, guys, because we've been streaming for almost an hour. I'm going to review the notes from the front and from the beginning, just really quickly, just give you a 1 minute overview. In the meantime, have a little think about some questions that you want me to answer, and then I'll catch up with you guys next week. Okay, so we were talking about linking and blending and intonation patterns. We talked about gonna and really sort of broke that down as to why. Then we talked about this sentence here, wanted to open his book. The interesting about wanting to open his book is we can't say wanna. Marcus wanna open his book. That doesn't make any sense. It's in the wrong tense. And then Priya shoulda. Oh yeah, we talked about the different sort of tones here. So some of it sounds informal, some of it sounds appropriate for the workplace. So I said, please avoid this blue one. Should keep the red one and the green one. So the green one is should've, not shoulda, should've. Then we talked about the W versus V sound here. Then we talked about the differences in pronunciation for wanna. And we discussed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pronunciation differences within one sentence. Talked about preposition versus prepositional phrases. And then we finished off our lesson with intonation. Okay, let's just take a look at the live stream comments. All right, guys, it was a pleasure teaching you. Feel free to stay in touch with me in the comment section or on Instagram DMs. I do have a Ko-fi and Patreon as well, so if you want to check out the extra exclusive content, feel free to do so. Seeing as there's no more questions, I'm going to log off. I'll see you in next week's live stream, which will be held on Wednesday, same time, 2:30 p.m. London time.